welcome to the Personalities of the Tarot podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Seer, and this is Season 2, Episode 24 for March 31st, 2024. It's Easter Sunday in the U.S., and we're in the middle of Aries with the Three of Wands. We're also between eclipses. We had that full moon eclipse March 25th, and we have an upcoming total solar eclipse on April 8th. It's also the beginning of Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury's our closest planetary companion. It's more often on the same side of the sun as Earth. And even when it's not, it's never that far away, especially when compared to the orbits of Venus and Mars. We usually feel the retrograde and other positions of those inner planets much more strongly than the outer planets. So let's talk about all that. Do that thing you do, sit back and chill in your favorite space. Take a drive, or pop in your headphones and go for a walk while we get into the energy that we're all working with at the beginning of April. Even if you don't know an Aries or a mid-Aries, you can still pick up some quick tips on how to better ease through this period with some sense and grace. Or just listen because you love the dulcet tones of this voice. How was that worm moon, that penumbral eclipse for you on March 25th? You probably felt it through the end of the month, or you may even still be feeling some of it now. The eclipse occurred while the moon was in the first 5 degrees of Libra, where my sun sign resides. I actually had a relatively good week in the lead up to and right after the moon, and I'm really hoping it'll carry through April. Eclipses arrive in pairs, with those pairs being 2 weeks apart. So the next event is when the sun is imprinted with the shadow of the moon. According to science.nasa.gov, on April 8th, 2024, a solar eclipse will cross North America, passing over Mexico, the United States, and Canada. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and Earth, completely blocking the face of the sun. The sky will darken as if it were dawn or dusk. Make sure to check out your local time and location. I know that here in Arizona, we'll begin seeing the positioning begin shortly after 10 a.m. and reaching peak around 11:20 a.m. on April 8th. If you intend on going out, please don't look directly at the sun. You know, there are special solar filters just for viewing eclipses. Make sure to take care of your ocular health. You know, retinal burns and scarring aren't a badge of honor. Eclipses are incredibly energetic, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So first and foremost, please be safe. You know, but also maybe use or work with that available energy to kill off something or transition away, transform it, and then renew it, allowing the transformation to take root and blossom into something amazing in your life. The April 8th eclipse is going to be exceptionally energetic this year because the sun's activity is in a cycle of solar maximum versus the solar eclipse which moved over part of North America in 2017. Now that year, the sun was in a cycle of solar minimum. After the eclipse, when the professional pictures come out and things like that, you're going to see quite a bit more activity around the corona of this eclipse versus that 2017 eclipse because the sun is in a much more energetic cycle at this time. Also, I've talked about Mercury retrograde in previous episodes, so I don't need to get into that again every time Mercury goes retrograde. We all know it's not the best time to start something new, sign documents, purchase expensive items, plan trips, yada, yada, yada. If you gotta, you gotta. But if you absolutely don't have to do one of those things in the month of April, then just do the research instead. Retrograde, I want you to think about this. Retrograde starts with an R and an E, R-E. It's a good way to remember to use the energy of the time of Mercury retrograde to do more of that stuff, starting with RE. So instead of jumping into a big purchase, you know, a move or a trip or a change, use that time in April, that time of Mercury retrograde, to do the RE research. Do a review, renew something, revisit something, a contract, an idea, a project, a hobby, a new regimen. I definitely suggest visiting your favorite astrology site for more information on how these energies may affect your sun sign specifically or wherever it shows up in your personal natal chart. Just a reminder, I'm a highly rated tarot and psychic reader. I have 5 stars on Google, Fiverr, Groupon, Fresha, and I think even Yelp. If you're interested in getting a reading, but maybe you didn't know how to go about finding a psychic for you, check out my site at elizabethseer.com. I have posts about my work and personal experiences, and even something about psychic scammers who give us all a bad name. I have video meditations and links to a few products I created to help out if you're also spiritually curious, like me. You can only book a reading with me through my team at chickswithspiritualgifts.com or my personal site, elizabethseer.com. This year, March 31st-ish to around April 9th or so, is the 20 to 30 degree mark, or middle, of Aries. I love the Three of Wands. I had 2 amazing roommates whom I absolutely adored. They were born April 6th and April 7th. And the April 6th roomie also dated an additional April 7th in our friend group. It was fun, F-U-N, fun. They make the best cheerleaders, especially when it comes to fun. They just always have to remember that they're still the Queen of Wands, or rather, we have to remember that they're still the Queen of Wands. And that Queen of Wands, she's incredible. She's courageous, and she'll go for it, and she's charismatic. They'll be your best friend or your worst enemy, especially when they think that they're protecting others. I actually call the Three of Wands, the numbered card which correlates with mid-Aries, I call it the cheerleader card. And here's the thing about these Three of Wands personalities. Success and opportunity always seems to come to them, especially with the help of those in their circle. They truly, truly have the ability to see ahead, and if they can get everyone else on board with their vision, they can really drive it forward. Now, their shadow side, we all have one. The shadow side of this mid-Aries can really lead them down the road of old habits, which just doesn't help in reaching current goals. They should remember not to create self-imposed obstacles that waste their effort or create delays. They should learn to trust in their own abilities while also trusting in others. Compromise is not a bad word, especially if you're compromising to make space for others to help out. For everyone of all signs, this time of the Three of Wands can bring an abundance of energy or help from the universe. Your plans could begin to move forward again or even expand, especially in cooperation with others. If you have a goal or vision in mind, then now is the perfect time to rally the troops and get others on board with the idea to create something new or expand the potential of an endeavor. Of course, still being under the reign of the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, this mid-Aries Three of Wands period is perfect for stepping up, showing leadership, and setting an example. Combining energies can give life to a new stage of being now. The right help is always just that, the right help. Accept it now, and maybe even be the right help for someone else. This week for my April 6th Intuitive Studies class, I'm teaching about connecting with our personal guides. And while Mercury's retrograde energy can make communication tricky at best, especially intuitive or psychic communication, it becomes tricky at best. The Three of Wands mid-Aries period can help kind of nudge things forward, especially with group effort. After all, I have found our spiritual helpers on the other side to be some of our very best cheerleaders. Are you spiritually curious? I I've created some divination tools which might help you on your spiritual divination journey, including my Seer's Casting Tarot released earlier this year. I'm truly enjoying working with the 78 symbols on discs, and I can't say enough about just how thrilled I am with the casting board. It's a new way to enjoy an old divination tool. Links for my divination sets and more are at my website, elizabethseer.com. It's famous birthday time! Here's my random list of famous or infamous mid-Aries characters and celebrities, this year born March 31st through April 9th. Now, those on the list were born with the energy of the Emperor, Three of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So it's a pretty powerful crew, full of fire and hot energy. As always, the list does not mean I agree or disagree with a person's words or life choices. It's simply to educate on the mid-Aries personality, giving you the opportunity to compare public personas with their tarot and astrological correlations, for bad or good. She of the angelic voice, Emmylou Harris. One of my very favorite guitarists, Mike McCready. Jackie Chan. Christopher Walken. Rhea Perlman. Cesar Chavez. Jack Antonoff. Method Man. Rachel Maddow. Taran Killam. Pedro Pascal. You know, of course he is a mid-Aries. Of course he is. Leon Russell. Hans Christian Andersen. Charlemagne, the ancient Holy Roman Emperor, not to be confused with Charlemagne the God, the radio host. His birthday is still a few months away. Wayne Newton, Alec Baldwin, Eddie Murphy, Adam Scott, Paris Jackson, Marlon Brando, astronaut Gus Grissom, Natasha Lyonne, Robert Downey Jr., Eric Andre, Heath Ledger, Maya Angelou, David Cross, Graham Norton, Pharrell Williams, Lily James, Sterling K. Brown, Paul Rudd, Booker T. Washington, Zach Braff, Black Francis, if you know, you know, Francis Ford Coppola, Billie Holiday. Here's a good one. A Gen Xer's very best friend, William Kellogg, the cereal manufacturer. Patricia Arquette, Paulina Poroskova, Keisha Knight Pulliam, Kristen Stewart. I said Kristen Stewart, like from Mad TV. Kristen Stewart, Elle Fanning, Lil Nas X, Hugh Hefner, Cynthia Nixon, and William Wordsworth, who said, "The best portion of a good man's life, his little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love." I'll be back around April 10th, a couple of days after that full solar eclipse on April 8th. We're going to be moving from the Queen of Wands reign to the Knight of Coins or Pentacles, and that's April 10th through May 10th, the last third of Aries through the first 2/3 of Taurus. And of course, at that time, I'll also talk about late Aries with the Four of Wands as well. Enjoy the solar eclipse safely. Don't think that you're just the guy to not get sunburned retina by staring at this hot, gassy center of our universe just because there's a shadow on it. Also, don't freak out about Mercury retrograde. Just use that time to revisit, review, revise, reconnect, regroup. We'll be to May before you know it. I do hope you enjoy the next period of Aries and can use the energy in the universe, as in our ever-expanding universe and the universe of our friend and family groups, to jump ahead with whatever you wish to accomplish. It could also be that it's your turn to be part of the cheerleader group and help boost another now. Of course, I can't sign off without, again, sharing the most important message in the world. You lose nothing of value in being kind and respectful. Be what you wish to see in the world. You want to see more love and respect? Be loving and respectful to the earth and all of her inhabitants. draw that love and respect to you by being more loving and respectful to yourself and to those within your immediate sphere of influence. Will there still be hate, violence, and war in this world? Well, yeah, with this many people, yeah. But love and respect still need to matter here. So be what you wish to see in the world and help it grow. Show others how it's done. Be the best cheerleader you can be. You've been listening to Elizabeth Seer, and I'm grateful for this time with you.